Christmas lights are burning bright to tell you and me a child was born one holy night for all to receive. Now everywhere love's in the air like the falling snow. God put it there for us to share, so just let it show. You can't wrap it in paper, put it under a tree, but the spirit of Christmas you still get for free. Goodwill to all with peace and joy my heart gives to you. No pretty dolls or shiny toys, but it's just like new. So don't you cry if you can't buy what's up on the shelf. Just look up high and dry your eyes and give of yourself. You can't wrap it in paper, put it under a tree, but the spirit of Christmas you still get for free. You can't wrap it in paper, put it under a tree, but the spirit of Christmas you still get for free. Yes, the spirit of Christmas you still get for free.
Is your mic working good, Jenn?
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, a couple times I didn't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Let me double check my plug. Yeah, everything is set on my side. We're all confirmed over here.
Fine. Perfect. You look great.
Thank you.
Give me the 3, 2, 1, okay? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and Nuclear Popcorn, it's where it's all at. This is Maurice Dwayne Smith. I'm the host and creator of this vehicle, and I've been trying to get this incredibly talented and beautiful, just incredible actress, Jenn Gotzon Chandler. She's one of the main stars of Saving Santaland. It's a fantastic, family-oriented, just feel-good movie, and it's very entertaining. You know, it's fantastic. And Jenn has been a mainstay within the Christian genre movies for quite a while now. And she first jumped into the mainstream with her role as Richard Nixon's daughter in Ron Howard's film, Frost Nixon. Come on down to the popcorn, Mrs. Jenn Gotzon. How are you?
Hey, Maurice!
Hey.
Thank you. Can I give you a high five? Can we do it? Can we do it? What?
I got it. I just want to thank you for coming. I've been trying to get you here for so long. Now we finally got you. And you are mommy. Congratulations.
Thank you. You could actually see my little bunny right here. You see the little baby? That was when he was a couple days old.
Oh, that's cool. I've seen that little baby's photo, and it's a very photogenic little person. Always smiling. Always, like holds things and stuff like that. Very cool. Yeah. Now, people don't know, because how could they know unless they have a photographic memory? You were on my show back on KBS TV years ago.
Yeah. long. My goodness, I think it was a decade ago after I did Frost Nixon.
Yeah, it was great. Could you tell us a little bit about Frost Nixon before we get into your Monster Jam Christmas holiday, which is about to actually hit every theater in the known civilized world? Tell
We're
us a little
so
bit about Frost Nixon.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, it was my role that actually God used to launch the passion of my heart as an actor, and that's playing lead roles in films that can impact and inspire people's lives. And so, Frost Nixon, I was at I played Trisha Nixon, the president's daughter, and
Uh,
Maurice. I was actually cast as an extra,
wow.
and powerful prayer team. I really believe God moved through that prayer team with also really strong work that allowed for me to be upgraded and to get lines and then be officially on contract and to be officially in the cast. And I'd love to share with you. Can I share with you a little nugget of how that happened?
Yeah, definitely. Please do.
So in LA. I was in my late 20s and I wasn't able to get an agent. I just couldn't, nobody would pick me up. And the only work I was able to get was extra work, and which is very admirable for those who are doing extra work because you learn so much. And, but I was defeated and I felt like a failure. And I felt like this is my dream. I came to LA. It's never going to happen. And a friend of mine said to me, Jen, why don't you fall back in love with God? And I was like, oh, I go to Bible study. I'm reading my Bible. I go to church. What else do you want me to do? And my ex-husband at the time, he said to me, Jen, yeah, but when you're praying for God, give me this, give me the acting job. And I said, you know what? You're right. And so then I went through a time and I said, God, let me fall back in love with you. What does that mean? And I remember sitting on my little balcony in Marina Del Rey, and I was looking at the clouds and looking at the trees and started seeing the beauty in God's creation. And then when I read the Bible, I was reading through the Bible and I started to feel God's presence. And I started to fall back in love with God. And I think that was about a month of just like not fasting, but like really just pressing in. And out of nowhere, I got a phone call out of nowhere. No. And a casting director, Bill Dance, and I'm looking at your picture. It was like I was on my phone, pretending it's my phone. I was like, hello? He was like, hi, this is Bill Dance. I'm casting the Ron Howard picture, Frost Nixon. And he goes, I'm looking at your photo, and I think you look like Trisha Nixon. Do you look like Trisha Nixon? And I'm like, I don't even know who Trisha Nixon is. Yes, I look like Trisha Nixon. Yes. He's like, why don't you come in? And so I went in and I met, and God allowed me to have that role. But it was only an extra role. And we reenacted the entire resignation of President Nixon. And I did all the research and I spent time at the museum and reading books and studying everything about Trisha Nixon. So when I showed up on set, I fully felt I was able to embody her. And Ron Howard upgraded me and gave me lines at the last day of filming. And that is what God used to launch my career. I've been in several movies in the faith-based market. I think there's like 30 of them on Amazon. But my favorite one is with my forever husband.
Where did you meet him?
We met on a movie after I got divorced, and we filmed in Savannah, Georgia. And he courted my heart with pen pal letters, and he pursued friendship. And if you want to know about our true story, you can watch The Farmer and the Belle, because the movie is inspired by our love story.
So it was something like that, really? It was just like that? Very
Mm-hmm.
cool. So now a lot of people are home thinking, wow, Ron Howard, Opie Taylor, how is he to work with?
Gosh, such a cool man. He's so down to earth. He's just like you, Maurice, just so loving and humble and generous and kind. And I remember this one scene. It was the day that he gave me some lines. Actually, no, I'll tell the story. It was my first day. It was my first day. And we were shooting a scene that had no dialogue. So it was just behavior. And Nixon, played by Frank Langella, who was nominated Best Actor for the Academy that year for his role, he was laying in the bed, nearly having a near-death experience. And I was on one side. And Patty McCormick, who played my mom, also another Oscar-winning nominee. I think she won for The Bad Seed. She stood next to me. And Ron came in, and I was praying about it. And I said, Lord, it would be so special to do something very special in this scene. And as I said that, it was as if Ron heard me. And he looks at me and he goes just like this. He goes, yeah. I'm going to have you reach over to Mr. President's hand during the scene. And he's holding some ice chips. Yes, I want him to have some ice chips, which is a cup of ice in his hand. And when he nods off, I want you to take those chips, that cup from him. Okay. Yes. And so that was my little bit. So after running for the take, Ron stood next to Salvatore, who was the DP, the director of photography. And he literally painted with the camera. Ron did. It was so cool. So we have this situation. President's laying down. I'm sitting next to him and my mom's standing next. And he's like, okay, push in, which means the camera goes closer to go down to his hand. Okay, pull up to Trisha. And as I pulled up, I reached in for the hand and the tears just came over me because I was thinking, don't die. And the tears just fell over me. And he goes, okay, push in on Trisha. Because he could feel that emotion, push in. And then inside my soul, I felt the Lord say, look up to your mom because you need her comforting because you're in pain. And Trisha looked up to her mom for that breath. And I looked up to my mom and Ron goes, okay, follow her up, go up to Patty. And when they cut the scene, the people in Video Village were watching the monitor. They said, oh my gosh, I felt like we're inside we felt like we're sitting in on the real family. Like it was so eerie to us because it felt like we were really watching what this family went through. And that day, because I was an extra and that was my day one, they contacted casting Bill Dance. And Bill Dance called me and they go, Jenn, they're so excited with the work you did. They said, where did you find her? She had this relationship with her mom and she cried. She went on this emotional journey. And I was like, praise God. It was 10 plus years of acting training and being an extra in movie sets and stand-in work and serving on films. And God gave that opportunity. And yeah, special.
Yeah. Tell us about Saving Santaland. Because every family film, it gives you a warm heart feeling. And they want it to be a hit and they want it to be good. But a lot of family films aren't really entertaining. Although I appreciate it, yours was very entertaining. It had a good, heartfelt vibe behind it. Talented actors, people that I knew, trained, and talented vets that I recognized. But the whole thing was also a love story. It's very entertaining. Who wrote that? Was it you and Jim, or just you, or collaboration?
It was a collaboration of an extraordinary team. God downloaded the concept during a fast when Jim proposed to me in 2016. And then Jim and I carved that vision, but we're not writers. So we then brought on Leo Partable, who wrote one of the first drafts of the movie, and we filmed the horse in the pink onesie. That scene if you guys have a clip of it or a picture of it, it's great. The horse in the pink onesie in Manhattan in the Flatiron Building. So Leo wrote that whole scene. And then he was not feeling well to continue to work on the movie. So we then moved on and we passed it off to another writer and everyone contributed. So at the end of the day, by the time the film was made, we had Reuben Evans, who handled the structure, and he ran a team of about 13 contributing writers who would read the script and give ideas and notes. And then Betty Sullivan turned it into a romantic comedy after I met with Hallmark, saying that they're looking for rom-coms, not broad comedy. We were originally a broad comedy. And then we went into getting all of the creative elements, and James M. DeVince came in and he worked so tirelessly, just months and months on the script. And then once we had it there, we needed to shoot this movie, and we weren't able to raise the money that we were hoping to raise. So we only had a small little amount. And so we needed to restructure the movie. And then that's when Bob Sines came in, and he writes for Majority, for Hallmark, and for Lifetime Christmas movies. And he looked at the script and he goes, okay, let's cut this character, this character, this character, this scene, this scene. And he did almost like a page one restructure. And he got us into the script that it is now what we see on screen. And we're very grateful to have won Best Script at Marty Jean Lewis's film festival, the International Film Festival, and Best Script at a couple other places. And there's so many nuggets and pearls of wisdom. Like, the vision was that Leo taught me from Act 1, where he teaches at, and movie guide Ted Baer did so much influence on helping us with the dialing in of the narrative, midpoint reversal and premise and all of that. But Leo said, when you have a story in a script, every minute of that script, you have to have something that creates the brain synapses to fire. And when they fire, the audience is gripped. You have to have a laugh out loud moment.
Mm-hmm.
Next minute, you have to have a moment that grips your heart, where you're almost feeling an emotion, maybe tearfulness, anger, nervousness. Or you need to have a moment where you're entering into new information. Or you have a moment that's like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And so we were very intentional with the writing. But then we filmed the movie, Maurice, we were overtly intentional with the edit. And Bill Ebel, amazing man, such a talented editor. We'll work with him all the time. He edited Courageous and Overcomer. We sat down and we worked through each scene, and I would sit with like a clock watch, listening to people in our screenings to say, are they laughing, or is the energy low? And when the energy was low in the screening, I would write it down, and I would say, Bill, 3 minutes. Did I lose you? Okay, this 3 minutes in the script, when we're watching in the test screen, this 3 minutes to 4 minutes, I felt the energy low. So we would go in and we would re-edit, and we would add new music, and Justin Peters wrote all these songs for us. And so there was a team of 400 plus people who participated in the movie from, I'm sorry. Phone calling. One of the theaters was just calling me in right now. That's releasing in theaters November 19th through Thanksgiving, and then we're rolling out through December. So the theater was just calling me, so I had to hang up. But we had 400 people working on it who wrote the devotional that you see in the movie. Michelle Cox from Hallmark's When God Calls the Heart, children's storybook written by Mike Naraki, illustrated by Sarah Jo Floyd. And you guys know Mike from Larry the Cucumber.
Okay, there it is. Yeah.
This one is our...
Is that a soundtrack?
Yeah, this one's our children's book.
Okay. Beautiful Mabel.
And this one is our soundtrack.
Oh, cool. Is John Snyder singing on there?
What was that?
John Snyder is also a singer, right?
John Schneider sings on here. He sings one of his original songs, The Spirit of Christmas. It's beautiful. Yeah. We have Robinson, who has won a Grammy for being the Queen of Bluegrass.
What's the name?
That one's called Santaland.
But what's Rob's last name?
Oh, Rhonda Vincent.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
And
it sounds very interesting. I'm on the edge of my seat listening to it. I'm almost reliving that with you.
Maurice, I know you like music. You love your music. This is like a cross between Duck Dynasties. No, that's not it. Oh my goodness, I can't remember. I think it is Duck. Anyways, oh my gosh, I can't remember. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, it's like country, like folk art. It's got jazz. It's got hip. It's got some techno. It's got just the most greatest Christmas songs that are specific movie that you want to listen to as you decorate your Christmas tree. It's like the best soundtrack that I can't stop dancing to it. I love it.
So now, can you tell us when it's going to hit the Los Angeles market?
Yeah, Maurice, if we do well this weekend when we release on November 19th, if we sell strong with the tickets, then the theaters in LA will want to carry the movie. But right now, being a movie that we're not produced by studio, it's been interesting because I've specifically called the movie theaters that are struggling to stay open because the pandemic has hit them so hard.
Right.
And those theaters that God has opened us in. So we're using the movie to help bring community back in and have that nostalgic hometown feel. We're going to have caroling and Christmas shopping and the movie, and it's going to make the people have the feels of, gosh, I just love understanding that my value is not based on what I look like, but on how God made me his masterpiece and how I love one another with the gifts he's given me. That's
Very
our
cool.
takeaway.
Now, the last time we spoke, I think you were also, your ministry was also targeting the very concept of what beauty is. And I told you that I had a friend who had a film out called Ugly, and she said that beauty is subjective, it's not necessarily one person's point of view, and we're all made beautiful because we're in the likeness of the Most High. So, and I think that also came out in the movie. Plus, it was pretty funny. How difficult was it to work with those animals? And was it by accident that you fell into the pig skin? Remember you fell into the pig straw? Was that accident or was that supposed to happen?
That's all supposed to happen. This is if so your friends who are watching this, okay, so this is my pig with the Santa hat on. So you have to watch the movie to understand why we see a pig with the Santa, because it just might be part of the Santaland games. And it just might be that we have to wrestle pigs to put Santa hats on them. And whoever puts a Santa hat on the pig first wins. And you'll have to see how my character does with the mud and the splats of everything.
And the pink horse too. Now we gotta tell people exactly what Santaland is. Is
Okay.
it, would you say it's sort of like a Knott's Berry Farm kind of,
That's
or Knott's Berry Farm meets Six Flags, kind of like.
I like Knott's Berry
Even, how
a
would you describe Santaland?
middle of the country with a barn. So Santaland is it's a country almost like out in the nowhere land where you have a barn and you have chickens and pigs and cows and
Apple cider.
all sorts of fun things, and the community gets together and every year they sing a song called Santaland, and then they do the games, the Santaland games, where you have a couple contestants and you have to carry a present on your head. You have to throw a snowball at a tree, a southern snowball, because it doesn't snow in the south, and you have to see what we make that.
Coming from the south, it snows sometimes. Not
It does.
hard, but it does snow. See, because if it snows somewhere like South Carolina, they don't have the big, gigantic, powerful, snow plows. So a little bit of snow is a big thing. Schools are closed. People can't get around. So, but yeah, it snows.
Did you love growing up with the snow when it hit on you?
Yeah, because that meant we didn't have school that day. So it was always great to see snow. But I moved to north to south to New York, and then I got real snow. But having been in an army family and living in Europe, I wasn't too surprised. But being an adult in snow and 3 foot of snow and -3 degrees in the cold apple, that's something else altogether. Now, why would people probably thinking, well, why do you want to save Santaland? Because it's a staple of that area. It's like something that people revere and look forward to and grew up with and love. It's like you don't want it to go away. It's almost as if someone took away Snoopy and Charlie Brown, that type of thing,
That's a really good way of saying it. Because so the movie's inspired by our real love story. So Jim, where we filmed, that's Jim's parents' land.
right?
Jim's grew up there and her family grew up there. And the cabins on the land, that's actually a camp. So we talk about the camp that has been shut down. And that's because Camp New Dawn, which is in North Georgia, and they have camp all summer long to bring kids in for a week and teach them about God and have fun. But they've been struggling. It's been hard for them to keep their doors open. And so that's pulled from their real life. And they, at Thanksgiving, they do what's called a turkey shoot to be able to raise money.
Right.
And so when we originally had our script as the broad comedy, we had the turkey shoot, not Santaland. And then we spoke with some actually one of the executives at Hallmark, and she said, Thanksgiving doesn't sell. You have to do Christmas because Christmas will sell internationally.
Mm-hmm.
We had a turkey shoot, and then we came up with a Christmas festival. And then the one lady said, you need to call it Saving Santaland because that title will sell. And so we called it Saving Santaland. So the turkey shoot morphed in to Saving Santaland, all based with the bones of Camp New Dawn.
I thought it worked really good. I thought that your husband's niece, that's his niece, right? That was kind of like a matchmaker, right? She seemed to make, she was a catalyst to certain things in the movie.
Her name is Chandler, and this is her first time she's ever acted.
Wow.
She dances in ballet in the Nutcracker, and that's her beautiful thing she loves doing. But when everyone watches this movie, yes, it's coming to theaters, but it's available now on Amazon Prime and on Inspiration TV and on Courage and on Positive TV. It's available right now. You can watch it. You will see that Adele steals the show. She is charmalicious. You will kill her. You want to love on her. She's 8 years old in the movie. And so the movie's so good for families. We've been seeing kids as young as like 4 years old watching this movie and being, mommy, more. I watched Farmer and Belle. And they like to watch the horse in the pink onesie scene over and over and over again. Because the horse pees on me and they think it's hilarious.
I thought it was very well made movie. Very well made. And I want to I hope that's the right word. Segue into another fascinating part of you as a performer. You are a faith-based actress. You do things that are not necessarily for scintillation or for people to get all sensually excited and boyfriend, girlfriend, going to the clubs and people get killed and all types of sexual situations. You do things that are faith-based, but you do it in such a way that it is exciting because you have done movies that are kind of exciting because you have people like Ernie Tubbs in there, Quaid, and I didn't know he was a born again Christian as you are, but you have movies. People think, oh no, it's one of those Christian movies. Oh no, but your movies are exciting. You're doing something to bring in people that have already this bias against Christian movies, and not necessarily Christian movies, but movies that are faith-based. And some people just think, oh, it's just going to be boring. But your movies are very exciting. And I wanted to talk about a while back, you got a 7-movie deal. Could you explain that to people? Because a lot of people, some like, man, I wish I could get a 1-movie deal, let alone 7-movie deal. How did that come about? And can you tell us I've always wondered about Doomsby. I think I know about Doomsby. But tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about that and about your 7 movie deal.
Well, I think when we're thinking about 7 movie deal, I don't actually know specifically what you might be thinking, but I'm wondering if it was in 2010. That year I filmed 5 movies, and then the following year I think I filmed 2 movies. That might be what you're thinking. And the first movie was Doonby,
Right.
and it's name to remember. It's Doon as in Nancy, By, Doonby. And when you watch it at the end of the movie, it shows that the word scrambled mean nobody. So that's how the word Doonby came up, to be able to show that. If you have to watch the movie, it's on Amazon as well. But yeah, I believe what occurred, to be honest with you, I think this is exactly what occurred. Frost Nixon, my publicist, who's no longer with me, Scotty Dugan, he's passed away.
I'm sorry.
He such his, it's so special as we as we bring this to theaters, and our premiere last week in New York City. And it's like I feel Scotty is his wisdom is like in my mind. Like an idea will come and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I learned that from Scotty. And so it's just really special. I launched a PR company, stands for Scotty's name. It's SDI Entertainment. It stands for Scotty Dugan Inspired. And so all of that we're doing for the theater is for the theatrical release is under my PR company. And Noheli, I'm so excited that she's on our team, and Serena and Lily helped with the premiere, and Noheli's helping me with organizing schedule and getting information out to everybody, all the media. And it's her first time ever doing it. And so it's just been so, anyways, I digress. In fact, I completely forget the question. Oh, 7-picture deal. So I believe all of that happened because Scotty had the vision of going to England for the world premiere of Frost Nixon. And when I went as Trisha Nixon, we had a moment where I took a photo with Franklin Langella. So it was President Nixon and Trisha Nixon at the world premiere of Frost Nixon. And then those photos went viral in the news world. They trended, and I was like in the top 3 the next day, which was crazy because I'm a small little role in it. And from there, producers in America were familiar with my film work in the short film world. And they gave me a chance to come on in, and my star meter went crazy. Like I was like let's just say there's, I was like really in the, like close to the number 1 spot. I was number 2 at one point for a week, which is nuts. And so I think filmmakers started to get excited, and they knew that I love Jesus, and they brought me into their movie. So I think that's how everything came about.
Very cool. Do you like your nickname, the Christian Meryl Streep?
I love that. Boy, but Meryl Streep is extraordinarily talented.
You have your knack. You have skills. You have serious skills. I've seen your movies, and you definitely have the tools.
Thank you. God
Yeah.
be the glory. I pray all the time, prayer team, and I pray in every scene. I would say 90% of all the scenes, I would pray and I'd say, Holy Spirit, just lead me. And the moments you see on screen, I just give God the credit because I could feel an impulse inside of me as I move. Like Love Different, Anthony Hackett and I, great movie. You have to see Love Different. If you haven't seen Love Different, it is hilarious. It's called Love Different.
It's your newest film?
No, it was Best Comedy a couple of years ago when it came out in the Christian circuit.
Okay.
You've got, oh my gosh, it's so good. And so, but Anthony, who directed and also played the lead, he's like, Jenn, every time we're shooting, all I hear you do is praying, which is great because I love God too. And so, what I say is Christian Meryl Streep, any moments that are good, I glorify God with them. And all the movie moments that are terrible, it is I still glorify God because I'm learning. Some moments I get good, and some moments I'm like, yeah, I gotta learn how to be better. We always are learning. We're always growing, and I think that's important for all artists to know.
Definitely. I don't know how many films you two have done together, but I saw another one where you were married to him and he was kind of taking you for granted and you thought of straying, but you didn't. Someone ended up killing the guy that you were kind of sweet on. Remember that one?
Yeah, that's Sinking Sand. That's the
Yeah,
movie I met.
huh?
That's the movie I met my husband on. That's Sinking Sand.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. That was a very wild movie because I was thinking, she's about to get busy with this guy and because your sister was like, no, don't do it, don't. And you were like, yeah, I'm tired of being taken advantage of. And then the guy got murdered. And was it that you thought that you had killed him? But wasn't there someone that was gonna? I don't want to give it away, but wasn't there? There was a murder, and someone was pointing towards your husband. That's all I say.
Yeah, that's all. That's all we'll say. All we'll say, and you have to see it. Sinking Sand.
There was almost a rush to judgment. There was romance. There was conflict. It was very well made. I really appreciated it.
That's so good. Scarborough. It was his story. And my goodness, he had such a passion in making the movie. And he wanted it to feel like a John Grisham novel, an Alfred Hitchcock vibe of the cinematography. And Pat Cook, his DP, and him, they work really hard to try to capture that. So I will definitely pass that on. And Sinking Sands on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it.
And I think I saw it. I'm not sure if I forgot where I saw it, but it was very cool. 'Cause I was just searching. I was like, oh snap, it's Jenn. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So now let me ask you, as a artist that knows what she wants to do, are you being tugged from other genres to leave your genre of faith ministry? And how much haterism do you get as a result of your success in this genre, in your genre?
Yeah, I think it's because I haven't gotten any haters. Um I haven't gotten any haters. But I also think it's because, Maurice, I'm in a niche market with a community that, where everyone's close. You go to a film festival and you're buddies with everybody, and a conference and you're loving on everyone. And so that community, there's just so much love. So um I haven't felt the haters. Now, this movie coming out, we're trying to get the Hollywood Reporter and Variety to be able to watch it and do a review. And, this week it's going out to mainstream. So, we'll see. We'll see what people feel, and because it's going out to a different, another wave of people, where people who, are in their own journey. So
Yeah,
we'll
he's
see
the crossover. Yeah,
haters, but
I'm kind of thinking. Well, I mean, I'm just wondering how long it's going to be before I see it on Hallmark. Because if anything deserves to be on the Hallmark channel, that movie should be on Hallmark.
oh, thank
Definitely,
you. We
definitely, very, very
appreciate
well
that.
made.
We had a great, just wonderful meetings with Hallmark. Bill Abbott, who used to be the former president, gosh, he encouraged me, and his executive assistant, Anna Kemp, she encouraged me, and I just can't speak high enough for them. And but at the end of the day, our movie, The Farmer and the Belle, was not on brand for them. What they're looking for is a movie that's all about romance, Christmas romance. Our movie was best described by Lifetime when they reviewed it, is that our movie is about is discovering inner beauty. And that's exactly what The Farmer and the Belle is about. The main through line is about discovering inner beauty. And so we don't fit in the mold. And then also Hallmark said that, we were a little bit too deep, compared to the feels that they would like to have in our comedy is also a little bit more comedic, compared to the wheelhouse of their model. So we won't be picked up on Hallmark. We've been passed on several occasions, but we've developed great relationships there that, you know, in the future, maybe there might be opportunity to collaborate together.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what is the big film festival that gives the faith-based industry its equal to the Oscar and the other established venue?
Yeah, I would say, well, you have two. There's an award show that is for Hollywood's professionals, and that's Movie Guide. And in the industry, I don't think you've got Dove Awards. I've never attended the Dove Awards, so I can't speak intelligently about them. But Movie Guide I've been at, and I believe they would be what would be considered the Oscars for faith and family. Then in the film festival market, the International Christian Film Festival, that they have branded themselves that they're the Oscars for the film festival of faith-based movies. And my goodness, if you have, Maurice, I don't know if have you ever been down to ICFF, International Christian Film Festival in Orlando?
No, I've never been there.
You've got to go. You've got to go. Don't Say My Name is the new movie that the founder of the festival, Marty, just released. It's a powerful story. And it's in theaters, which is so exciting for Marty right now. But it's a festival that if anybody who wants to learn how to make movies, because there's education, there's like you get a certificate from the education you go there, and then there's a festival, and it's just wonderful. And it's normally in the beginning of May in Orlando.
Now, I'm pretty sure you've won Best Actress for that in that festival a couple of times, right?
I've been nominated a lot, and I've won Best Actress for Sacred Eternal. That was beautifully created by Daniel Pickett. What an amazing filmmaker, just such an artist he is. And then actress for, I think it was God's Country, Saving Faith, Farmer in the Belle, Forgiven, maybe My Daddy's in Heaven, I think. And then I was up for Actress of the Year this year with Shannon Fields, and I was so grateful that Shannon Fields won it because she lost her husband, and God, great doors for Shannon. People know her from Facing the Giants. She was the beautiful, wonderful wife of Alex Kendrick in Facing the Giants. It's Shannon Fields.
Very cool. Now, I don't know if people know, because I know that I tend to search out things. You have a ministry actually where you teach not only acting, but also, I think sort of like Bible school as well. Could you explain that?
Yeah. Oh gosh. So inspiring actors. So inspiring dash like a hyphen actors.com. That's where you could learn all about the program. So we have multiple faceted things, and this program would not exist. I mean, it would not exist if it wasn't for Susan Shear. Susan Shear is my partner, and she is the powerhouse behind Inspiring Actors. And we have an online curriculum, so you could do it and take it at your own leisure, focused on how do you work in faith-based movies? How do you get started in faith-based movies? Because that's the number one question that people ask me, like, how did you get started in faith-based movies? I want to work in faith-based movies. And boy, do I hear that in my heart. So we put together a program that you could do it at your own pace and watch the videos to learn how to do that. Now we've broken it off, and Susan has developed it, and we've got teachers that are directors that are actually directing movies that are distributed, that are coming in and teaching. I teach now. My teaching is, I love teaching so much. And so when I'm available, I'll teach, but with producing and releasing a movie, and this bracelet I created and the merchandise has been created by our team. It's a lot of manpower that I'm working on. So the teaching, I will find periods of time that I can focus in and make sure I have undivided attention to be able to pour into artists, because that's my passion. I love to do that. So inspiring-actors.com, that's how people can get signed up. And we have a community. We have a private Facebook community where you could be a member and you get like very discounted classes. And gosh, people are just growing. It's just, people are booking work all the time, and it's so awesome to celebrate with them.
Very cool. Jim is doing quite a bit within the industry himself. I'm pretty sure I've seen him with Stranger Things.
Yes.
Has he ever given you any insight into how it is to be on that wild ride? Because that is a wild show.
That's a really great question. So regarding Stranger Things, he was in the second series and the second episode of Stranger Things 2. And he plays the district attorney. He plays like a government official. He plays agent, government agent number 2. He plays government agent number 2. That's it. That's government agent number 2. And that's his biggest credit. So if you watch it, you'll see him passing by, and he has this big mustache, and he passes off some folders. So that was like the biggest job he's done, and he's been on hold.
I'm interviewing Mrs. Wheeler.
And you're interviewing Wheeler.
Right.
Jim's on the side right now. He's in school. He's in college. So he's hearing me interview. He's side talking.
The Duffer Brothers were great.
He said the Duffer Brothers are great.
Duffer.
That's what I said.
Okay.
But I was laughing, so you couldn't hear me. But Jim right now, like Maurice, I want to brag on my husband. So obviously, like we talked earlier, we met as an actor, and this is our true story. The Farmer and the Belle saving Santaland are inspired by it. Jim has been working with a beautiful palette of opportunity. He was on Law and Order this year. Doom Patrol. Jim, what network is Doom Patrol on again?
HBO Max.
HBO Max, Doom Patrol. Oh my gosh, he did so great. We just watched the episode yesterday. I was like, honey, you did so good. Castle Falls comes out in 2 weeks, and it comes out to theaters, right? In 2 weeks?
Theaters, yeah. Scott Atkins and Dolph Lundgren.
Scott Atkins and Dolph Lundgren. He are the main. And so Jim, a good supporting role in Castle Falls. So you guys don't want to miss it. It's coming out. And in a couple weeks, 2 weeks. And he's in a Disney movie right now that I can't tell you the name, but it's an awesome movie, and it'll probably come out next year. And so he's been doing a lot of great work. And I think one of the most notable roles that I was like, oh my gosh, honey, what in the deal? That was Lodge 49. And played, Jim, what was your character's name? Wallace Smith in Lodge 49. Oh my gosh. And if you're like, how do I see all this? Okay, just go on YouTube and just type in Jim's name, and you'll see it on his demo reel. Jim, the letter E, Chandler. Jim E. Chandler, Chandler, and you could see a collection of his work. And then you'll be like, oh my gosh, I want to watch that show.
Is it a thriller, a horror, love story, action?
Yeah, Lodge 49 is like this.
It's hard to describe.
It's like an artsy, mysterious collage of Stranger Things meets Mary Poppins.
It's like a noir. It's like a noir. Is one of those?
No, it's not a noir. It's a collection.
It's a slow, chill show.
Jim is calling it a slow, chills show. It's like psychedelic.
Not a lot of the stakes aren't super high.
Stakes aren't. It's. I guess it would be like a drama.
It's hard to qualify it, and that's why it struggled. Critics loved it, but the audiences couldn't stay connected.
Yeah. Did you hear Jim?
A little bit.
He said critics loved it, but the audiences had a hard time staying connected because the genre was so hard to be able to nail down. But you can see us in the movie My Daddy is in Heaven on Amazon Prime. Jim comes in, and that's such a good movie. Oh my gosh, it's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. So you can watch that on Prime. My Daddy is in Heaven. And we That's at the end. Ooh-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Didn't you do one movie that's kind of like dealing with the resurrection and no, with the yeah, with the resurrection, and also kind of like a horror or scary kind of?
The
Am I
clo-
thinking?
the closest movie dealing with the resurrection was not scary. It was called The Sacred Eternal, by Daniel Pickett that we talked about earlier. That would be the closest one. The next one, yeah, that would be the closest.
Would you do a horror film? Something that was it like, let's say, like a exorcist film?
I
So,
don't know. I don't think I could. That content is so difficult in my brain that I would be tortured mentally if I did a story like that in my real life, and it's not worth it. I don't want to go there.
could you see yourself being a detective?
What was that?
Hardcore. Could you see yourself being a hardcore private detective? You know, like a film, like an Angelina Jolie kicking butt, going after
Yeah,
like a Marvel type thing, even.
yeah. In the quicker the answer is, that type of role would take a lot of preparation for me because it's not my natural DNA. Now, so do I want to do something like that? I've worked often in roles like that where I was the district attorney in the movie Untouched. And I look back at the work and I'm like, it doesn't feel real to me. And then in Camp Arrowhead, my dearest Starla Christian, oh my gosh, I love Starla Christian so much. She produces wonderful movies and she's co-producer on The Farmer and the Belle. Her name's like, I think right there, there's her name. She's like, yeah, you're going to play the antagonist in Camp Arrowhead, and I'm going to have you play the wealthy bee. And I'm like, why? This is such a hard role to play. She goes, well, Jenn, if the shoe fits, wear it. I'm like, what the deal? She goes, but Jenn, you play these roles so well. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate you. So if you see Camp Arrowhead, you can see the range. Let's just say it's definitely a range. And I play a woman I want to throw tomatoes at, like total tomatoes, like big tomatoes you want to throw at. I'm like, I don't want to play that role. I think I like playing right now are characters that have brokenness, emotional. God bless you, Jim. Emotional brokenness, that struggle with something in their life. And then through the climax of the story, they have hope and revelation. And then the character has depth in them. So drama, comedy together. And then add some sports all day long. Like get a softball movie or a skiing movie or a golf movie all day long. I'm all on it.
What about like I can always see you as because I don't think this has been done. There's always a sports figure guy that has a coming of age. Could you see yourself being like a female athlete coming of age?
Oh my gosh, I love it. Let's make it together, Maurice.
Yeah, I'd be happy to start writing that right away.
That'd be great. I'm all on it. Oh my gosh, I'm so on it. If I was better at volleyball, that would be a lot of fun. Sand volleyball. But now that I'm 42, I've lost my abilities. Plus, I live in the New York City area. I live in New Jersey, which is but like right across from the city in the people might know Hoboken. That's our closest city that we're by. But there's no sand volleyball out here that at least I play in. And we played the other day, or like last summer, or I don't remember when we last played, but I'm like, dude, my volleyball skills from when I lived in Marina Del Rey, they're gone. Bye-bye.
So would you say that it's better for an actress to be in New York than in California?
No, I think you be where God calls you to be. If you're just starting out, being in a smaller market, you're going to get way more opportunities. Atlanta is booming. Birmingham, Alabama is booming. Then, Los Angeles, there's so much. So you could do a lot of extra work and then get upgraded. That's the best market to do extra work for upgrades is LA. But you need to have a real agent. Not when I say a real agent, you need to have an agent in the top 10, top 20 of all the agencies, because those people are getting auditions. if you're in a smaller agency, you get submitted, but your audition doesn't really get seen. Now, if you're in a Southeast, like Atlanta market or Louisiana, you have a lot of auditions that are coming through. Like Jim, he books, because he lived in Georgia and Tennessee for a while. He books all the time in Georgia, all the time. Most of his credits are from Georgia. So that's where I would say is better to live. I wanted to be near New York City because I love New York City, and my parents are in Pennsylvania, so we're close to them. You get the 4 seasons, and New York City is so much fun.
Actually, you're right. When I lived there, the thing that I noticed that New York is extremely fun during Christmas, extremely fun. But if you're there without, knowing anybody, it could be kind of like a very lonely place too, though, because New York is not quite as touchy-feely as LA, but New York in Christmas with the Rockefeller Center, big gigantic tree, fantastic, and the snow. But there's one thing I've overlooked. I've talked about all the glitter. Who was the inspiration for you to get into acting, and who was the one that put the fire under you and basically motivated you and helped you reach towards honing your skills?
So I would say the main motivator as a 15-year-old was my manager and my agent, who's just passed away a couple months ago. Her name was Chartreuse.
Oh, sorry to hear
Chartreuse, Charlene Matus. And this Friday we released at my hometown theater in my first movie that we did a one-night play. She came on out and she spoke with me to the group there. And so she would want to be on this journey of seeing what God did with the movement of this movie and the Brooks and inspiring people's lives. So she would be the person who helped breathe wisdom and direction into me. And then as an adult, Scotty Dugan, my manager, who no, he was my publicist, who then decided to manage me. He was the one who God blew vision in. And so both of them are with the Lord right now. And I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for my parents that are so supportive. My mom, Jo, dad, Ronnie. My dad taught me everything you can know about go-getting, creating and going, creating and doing. Like my dad manufactures fishing lures and he makes birdhouses, and he'll wake up and he'll have this idea for a fishing lure and he'll sketch it out. And I say it's literally within concept to 2 hours, he'll have the fishing lure made on his computer. He'll print like a little paper with the fishing lure name on it, and he'll have the packaging done all within 2 hours. It is brilliant how my dad's brain thinks. And I know that he is the reason for the creativity that I have and the big ideas that come from my daddy. And the love in my heart to love people intimately comes from my mommy, my mama, Joanne, my mama bear, I call her. Her name is Joanne. She's the one who's taught me how to love people, how to love God, how to pray, how to trust God, how to believe in God. Gosh, my mom and my dad are who made me who I am, and I'm so grateful for them. So I wouldn't be anywhere where I am if it wasn't for my parents creating that foundation in me.
Okay. Was there a teacher that reached out and said, that they thought that you had skills in theater? Well, for that matter, were you in, theater and stuff back in high school, or did you just get a little older? Because I know you said 15 years old, but were you actively acting in school plays back then?
I auditioned for school plays, but I never was cast in a speaking role.
Wow.
I was cast as a background actor, and I called myself a walking tree.
Wow.
And my senior year, I auditioned for the one of the speaking roles, and I didn't get cast. I didn't even get cast as a walking tree, and I was so And I asked, my dad said, "You always ask, what can you do to be better?" So I asked the teacher, and she told me that many people want to be an actor, but I didn't have the talent to make it. And
Incredible.
that broke my heart. And so when I went home, my mom taught me how to pray. And so I went home as a 17-year-old crying, and I was praying. And God said, "Contact the Murder Mystery Dinner Theater." That's what came. And I did. And they had auditions that night. And well, I auditioned and I got cast. And it was improv. I didn't have to memorize lines. It was improvisation. And that's really where my journey launched from. And then I said, I need to learn how to act. And so I studied, and I studied hard. I went to lots of conservatory training, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of training.
So do your paths ever, path, do your paths ever cross with that teacher who basically cut you and didn't let you in? Or has she ever reached out and said, "I'm sorry, I screwed up and didn't put the most talented person in school into plays"? Did that ever happen? Or did you just see her and say, "La, no, 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 look what you could have had working for you. Look what I'm doing"?
Nope.
No.
She's never reached out to me.
Did you know that Michael Jordan was
I've never
cut?
face to face either.
Did you
But
know
if
that
I
Michael Jordan?
what
I was saying, did you know that Michael Jordan, when he tried to play, first time he tried out for his school basketball team, he didn't make it because
yeah.
his coach cut him. And then the coach said, "Yeah, well, he didn't really have the skills." And then he got better. But that's so crazy. But you had the drive and the burning desire, like Jordan, to keep coming, and now you're the big fish.
And I think that's for all of us. People can be naysayers and, speak negatively into our hearts. And that's where we need, and that's what The Farmer and the Belle is about. It's taking those lies, those negative thoughts, those negative comments, and we overcome. And that's what this bracelet from the movie is. You see this bracelet, my character loses this bracelet in the movie from a Grammy, and the bracelet has biblical affirmations on it to help us understand how to overcome those negative lies. And what it tells us in Romans 12:2, it says to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so talking with psychologists, you have to hold that lie captive. So I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. I don't have enough money. I'm not pretty enough. I'm overweight. I'm getting too old. All of that is garbage. Okay. Hold that lie captive. And then I want you to say over your head, this charm, which it says, obedient to my calling. And the back says Jeremiah 29:11, which we all know, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. So you say over your mind, no, God has plans to prosper me and not to harm me. God has plans to prosper me and not to harm me. God has plans to prosper me and not to harm me. So when you're looking at fear and that lie in your face, you speak the scripture to that lie, and you overcome that lie by speaking the scripture with your eye on where the calling is. And those who struggle with their physical image, this one says, you are a magnificent masterpiece. In the back, it says Psalm 139:14, body and soul, I'm marvelously made. And so you look in the mirror and you're like, I don't like the way I look. Or you walk into a room and you see someone and you're comparing yourself, or you're on social media and you put a photo up and you don't get the interaction and you're feeling some kind of way inside. You say, no, I am a magnificent masterpiece.
Yeah, we
My
are.
body, and that's how you overcome those lies.
Very cool. Let me ask you a couple of questions because I know we're getting close. So I just have to make sure I ask this. How was it working with Ernie Tubbs, Mr. The Crow, and Mr. Ghostbusters, and Dennis Quaid? He's had some pretty wild movies. And as I look at him, some of them are pretty based with some. He's been pretty cold-blooded in them, but he steps in and out of the genre. How was it working with those two guys? And actually working with John Snyder too.
Yeah, I actually worked with Ernie Hudson and John Schneider. I've always wanted to work with Dennis Quaid. I got to meet him once, but it really wasn't. I got to see his face as he was entering into an elevator at RB this past year, and I said, "I really appreciate your work." And that then he went up in the elevator because the doors were closed. That's the only time I got to really interact with Dennis Quaid. But oh my gosh, to be in a scene and to work with him, like Corbin Burnson work with Corbin in a scene. Oh my goodness, he's so good. And Ernie is so good. And John Schneider is so good. Um, okay, here's a story. Dune B. That's where Ernie and John and I both work together. There is a scene where there's a shooting that comes in, and the guy comes in and he starts shooting up the bar. And Ernie Hudson, his character, gets hit by a bullet. And John comes in and saves the day. And I'm there and I'm the lead and I'm crying. Okay, I'm that's the scene. And so we're about to shoot. And so I'm preparing. I'm getting in my emotions. I'm feeling the scene, the fear and the fear, the tears, all of this. On over and he's like, "Hi," and he wants to chat. And he's like, "So I hear that you have a speaking program that you talk to kids in New Orleans about inspiring them to live their dreams." And I'm like crying and I'm like, "Ernie wants to have a conversation with me, but I can't talk because I'm going to lose this preparation." And I said, "I'm so sorry. I'm in my imagination preparing." He goes, "Oh, yes, yes. I remember that. Okay, okay. I used to do that too a long time ago." And he kindly affirmed me and he let me be to prepare. And him and John went and they started laughing and hucking it up and just joking and having a good time together. Meanwhile, I'm in the side crying, trying to prepare for the scene. They're laughing. The director goes, "Okay, guys, we're going to go in for a take. Everyone quiet on set." And I saw Ernie Hudson drop in an emotional preparation within about 3 to 5 seconds.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm like 30 minutes in here in a preparation to get tears. And you just dropped that in. How did you do that? And I started to realize us as an artist, we don't need to live in that. Once you have it, you could drop in and out of it. And now as an artist, I've learned how to do it. And it's incredible.
I was going to ask you about that very thing. I was going to ask you, do you actually feel that? Or do you just pretend to feel it?
No,
do you actually feel it?
I feel it. Let me see if I could do an example right now. So first, I'll just walk you through it. I'm making it up right now. First, if you're tense, you can't feel any emotion. So you need to relax your body. So I'm just going to take a deep breath in. Now I'm going to put my focus on an image. So I'm seeing in my mind's eye right now a person that I love very much. And now I'm feeling that person who I love very, very much is looking really sad. Seeing that person look really sad. And they're hurting. And now I feel that. So I'm going to breathe into that. I'm going to relax. And I'm going to say, "Mommy, I love you. Mommy, I love you. I love you, Mommy. Don't go. Please don't go, Mommy. I love you so much. Stay with me, Mommy. Mommy, don't go." Now I'm going to let it go.
Awesome.
And so I'm going to break that down. So the image that I had, because I heard my baby, he just woke up. So I saw my face of my little baby. And I saw his little squishy, smiley face, his little lovey face. And then I saw him going to daycare for the first time, which hasn't happened. I'm making it up in my mind. And I'm seeing him going to daycare and I'm seeing him upset at daycare. And that caused me to feel upset through empathy, feeling him be upset. And so I felt the emotion, and then I did a bridge, and I imagined the lines were "Mommy, don't go," and I just came up with that right then and there. So I imagined, I didn't even see my mom saying the lines, and then as I started saying the line, I just allowed my imagination to fuel. But I didn't use my mom. I used the imagination exercise, what I just shared with you, and all of that. I just came up with it at the moment. So I
So
would
Ernie
have to.
taught you that?
What was that?
Ernie taught you that technique?
Ernie gave me the confidence that we could drop an emotion quickly. That technique was taught through many years at the Joanne Baron D.W. Brown studio, and at the New York, what is the school I went to in New York? It used to be called School for Film and Television. Now they changed their name. So those two schools with a plethora, I think about maybe 20 teachers I've studied with, and Clay Banks. Clay Banks was amazing in Los Angeles, amazing. So
Yeah.
everyone worked that muscle in me.
So is there any particular style? Like, there's all these famous names, I can't really, but I'm sure you know the different names and different styles. Is there any particular style that you think is the best, or is it just you finding what works best for you?
It is for me. Hi, sweetheart. My little bunny's coming in.
Hey, you
Baby,
little star.
say hi. My name is James.
Hey, James.
Daddy
You're
gave me a
smiling.
box. Say hi, Mr. Maurice. Say hi,
Hey,
all the.
man.
You could follow me at
Can I have some of that milk?
Bunny20. It's
James, I
little.
want some of that milk. I
What
gotta
was
have
that?
some milk, James. Huh?
Yeah, say at baby James 2020. That's my Instagram. You could see me on the red carpet and with the pink horse in New York this past week at our premiere. Yeah, at baby James 2020.
Is he in a movie?
He's going to be in our sequel for The Farmer and the Belle, but he's in a commercial. He's in a Love Sack commercial that should be airing now.
Oh,
We
wow.
haven't, like, he's in a commercial. He has a big agent in New York. Jim and I, we're very grateful for our representation, but James he's with Take Three talent. He's you art. He's you art. He's you art.
Are there any books that you guys have written coming out? Is there any music that you guys have made, you and Jim, coming out?
Well, we have a collection, The Farmer and the Belle, the Divine Beauty Collection, and this is the bracelet that is from the movie that you can get on our website. And it is it's like a Tiffany style chain with Alex and Ani inspired charms that's adjustable to fit all wrist sizes. I would say most wrist sizes. We have kids and adults. And that's on our website, thefarmerandthebelle.net. And then the locket that I'm wearing, it says beauty is on the inside. No, I lied. The outside of it says open my heart. It's a heart locket. And when you open your heart inside, I'm going to try to do it. Yeah, bunny. Hey, bunny. Hi, bunny. When you open the heart inside, it says beauty is on the inside. And we're going to be on QVC. I'm going to give you back to Daddy. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Daddy.
When are you going to be QVC?
It's gonna be in December on QVC with the locket.
Okay.
And that's again in the collection of The Farmer and the Belle. And then this is my first book I've ever had published. It's Divine Beauty, Becoming Beautiful on God's Truths. And this is combined together as a combo, the bracelet and the book. And as you read each section of the devotional, it explains how do you take these affirmations and apply them in your heart so you can overcome that negative thinking. It's based with psychology, with prayer, with wisdom. But Michelle Cox, she writes for Hallmark's When Calls the Heart devotional series. So that's what I have created, the bracelet, the book, the necklace, and all of that's on our website.
Very cool. Let me ask you a very timely question. Has the pandemic or COVID affected your work at all?
It actually, for us, it's interesting. we lost our theatrical opportunity last year for The Farmer and the Belle because the company and no one was going to theaters, and we released digitally. And I was so sad that a television station didn't pick us up. So devastated. But we released on Amazon, and we became a bestseller on Amazon, The Farmer and the Belle Saving Santaland.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. For 6 weeks, Maurice. We were a bestseller for 6 weeks
Wow.
in romance, The Farmer and the Belle Saving Santaland. This was here. And
It's
so
I mean, I know it's about self-discovery, but the love thing helps a lot.
so the pandemic, that would be how the pandemic hit us. We lost our theatrical, but now, like it says, God had a plan that I never saw. Ever saw. So those of you who are like, this is what God is telling me to do, and you do it and it doesn't happen, and you're like, what the heck? God literally might be doing something completely different. Like, I never saw that. Never saw we'd be going to theaters across the nation.
Actually, I was thinking,
Based on
I'm not surprised though. I'm not surprised.
so
I
I hope
expected it.
you live near the
I-
theater. I hope you live near the theater. And so this is how you find out the theaters. Go to our website, thefarmerandthebelle.net, or go to Instagram at Farmer Belle, BELLE, my character Belle, BELLE, film on Farmer Belle Film on Instagram, and you'll see the link where it shows you all the theaters we're in. We're only in theaters that are struggling to stay open because of the pandemic. We're not in your AMCs, your Regals. We're in your smaller local hometown theaters.
So bringing them up.
Yeah.
You're going to bring them up with you. That's very cool. Very cool. And a couple more questions before we go, about to run out of time. What were the obstacles, if any, in the making of Farmer and the Belle?
I think we hit health. 2 days before production, we lost one of our key people, and that's Starla Christian, to a horrible sickness.
Wow.
And then that sickness spread through about 40% of our crew. And then our executive producers, the Bruners, Melissa and Daniel's a doctor. So he came in and he started administering medicine to help everybody. And so that was like one of the most difficult things, is that we almost lost everyone due to the sickness. But we were able.
It was COVID?
No, it wasn't COVID. It was like a flu, like a weird flu bug that just it took people out, and it knocked you out. Like you were on your back, knocked out. It was bad. So I think that was one of the biggest struggles.
Do you ever feel kind of, well, okay, you're working right now, right? What's the film that you're working on right now?
I'm actually not working on a movie at the moment. I've been working on self-distribution, Farmer and the Belle. So I've literally been the one calling the theaters and talking with them. So my focus has been talking to the movie theaters to book them, to get them the movie poster, to get them the trailer, to get them the actual film itself on a hard drive. It's called a DCP. And then I've been working with my PR company to talk with you, Maurice, and set up this time and be on talk shows like Newsmax. We were on Friday, and a bunch of wonderful talk shows that were going to be coming up this week. And so that's been what I've been doing, and then calling the Christian bookstores and finding a Christian bookstore that's connected to the theater so we can have Christmas shopping and help the bookstore, and communicating to churches to see if we could get their youth to come out and Christmas carol at the theater. So at the theater, if you're near a theater, hopefully it'll be an enchanted experience, especially if you live in Nashville. If you live in Nashville, oh my goodness, you've got to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday and hear the artists sing. The artists from our soundtrack, Justin Peters is going to be there. Becca Shea is going to be there. Nate Cornell, they're all going to be singing songs from the song soundtrack. We're going to have the Hoff Christian Bookstore there selling Christmas gifts. And this is in the location.
When's this going to be there? Which date?
We released this Friday. So November 19th, the artists are going to be showing up in Nashville in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Okay.
And you can get theater on our website, thefarmerandthebelle.net. But Atlanta really the premiere on Friday, and we're going to have Christian Vogue down there, Pearls of Promise down there. A lot of the cast in Atlanta is going down there. Amanda and Wesley Wellen, our director, is going to be there. And I mean, so it's like all these different theaters. And I'm flying to Iowa to go to Pocahontas to help launch a bookstore called Creation. And the movie showing today in Rialto in Pocahontas, Iowa for up until Thanksgiving. And then I'm going to be talking to the schools and doing a book signing and a DVD signing and a jewelry signing at Creation Bookstore. So it's a lot of excitement happening.
Very exciting. One of your friends from back in the day told me to tell you hi. I was a couple days ago.
Oh no, I lost you.
A couple days ago. Pepper J. You know Pepper J, right?
You got to see Pepper because you're in Vegas. He's in Vegas.
Yeah, I should tell you hi.
Oh my gosh.
You know John too, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. His beautiful singing. Such beautiful singing. They're such a wonderful, gosh, they're such wonderful people. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You know, John has a couple of albums coming out. So I'm going to tell them they should, because they were just in Nashville last week. So I'm going to tell them maybe they should go back. And are you going to be in Nashville?
I'm not going to be in Nashville. I'm going to be in Pennsylvania on Friday at the Roxy, because that was where my hometown theater is, where my dream started. And then I get on a plane to Iowa.
If possible, maybe you should speak to, Pepper. I think you two might have a way of collaborating right now.
Oh, I'd love that.
I just want to thank you so very much. I always admired your talent. And Jim, I always thought Jim was one of the guys in the strange, like it looked like an overall suit. That was one of the strange people in Strange Days. I thought that was him. But either way, I'll go in and find season 2 and really see him. I just want to thank you guys for coming to us, because I've been trying to get you on the show, and I knew we could do you guys good if you came on the show. I just want to thank you, congratulate you on your awesome success, and we're going to do some great stuff to you, and I'll be speaking to you and making sure I get everything we can to blow you up and get people like to see you're a fantastic film.
Thank you. Maurice, I want to give a gift to all of everybody. Hi, everybody who's hanging out with us. I want to give a gift. It's a gift. So I'm going to give you a link, and it helps us understand how to discover our true beauty. How connected are we to our true beauty, which is our ministry, right? So I'm going to give you the link, and then it's a quiz. It's like 3 minutes. You take it, and then you get a scorecard on how connected you are to your true beauty. And then it gives you all sorts of strategy to be able to help encourage you wherever you're at in your life. So I'm going to send that to you. It's called the True Beauty Scorecard. It's a link. It's free. And it's a gift that I can bless all of your listeners with and your watchers with. And everyone who's.
This has been Nuclear Popcorn. We had the amazing Jenn, Gotzon, Chandler, Jim Chandler on the side doing his schoolwork, and the baby Bambino Chandler. And again, make sure you get to the theaters and see Saving Santaland, Farming the Belle. You'll enjoy it. Take the whole family. Thank you, Jenn. This has been Nuclear Popcorn. So blessed to have you.
On Prime. Watch it on Amazon Prime right now.
Definitely. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, though. So it looks like the studio wants us to stay on for a little bit more. Are there any burning desires? If anything you'd like to say before I close out the film?
How can I be praying for you, Maurice?
Pardon me?
How can I be praying for you?
I think you said, I'm not sure what you said. I couldn't quite hear you.
Oh, how can I be praying for you?
You'll be praying for me?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Someone called and kind of I wouldn't say messed up, but the sound was going down so low, I can barely hear you. But thanks for
Thank you.
Take care of that eye. So we want you to keep your vision. spiritually, physically, and emotionally, artistically.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This has been Nuclear Popcorn, and that is the beauty. Thank you, Jenn.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Nuclear Popcorn says goodbye. Thank you all. Thank you, Jenn. Yeah, we're leaving now. I can barely hear you because somebody called, and when they called, I'm using my phone. Can you hear me pretty well? Yeah, they called and screwed me up, so I couldn't really hear. But yeah, we basically did everything. I'm gonna get you all the things I want inserted, and I'll get that to you within the next couple of days. Yeah, I never got a 15-minute nothing. Yeah, I never saw anything. I was looking at my clock. Yeah, I think yeah, we're over about 15 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll find out what we need to cut out, and we'll take it. When do you think you'll have it hooked up so I can take a look at what needs to be taken out? Okay, okay, and then I'll get on it, and we'll get it all edited up, and we'll be ready to let it fly. Okay, thank you so much. Minutes? Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye now. Take care.